Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, Today in History. It is February 1st, the day that sits between winter's last gasp and spring's first. Don't get too excited, I'm still mostly mud. This date has range, mythology, revolutions, civil rights, exploding spacecraft, and of course, the Oxford English Dictionary. For when you want your words to feel like they're judging you. So buckle up as we take a brisk walk through the past, February 1st style, which historically means something big is either being born, dying, or quietly smoldering until it erupts later. Segment 1. Origins and Mythology, Imbolc and St. Bridget. February 1st starts before calendars, before nation-states, before middle schoolers learn to pretend they completely understand the phases of the moon. This is the day of Imbolc, the Celtic festival of, hey, the sheep are pregnant, maybe we won't starve this year. The ancient Celts didn't track seasons with apps or Punxsutawney Phil. They tracked them with yews, candles, and the magical science of let's hope the sun comes back. And then St. Bridget enters the chat. She is like the goddess Bridget version 2.0, patched for Christianity. The symbol? A woven cross made of rushes. Imagine a solar panel, but made entirely of grass and spiritual optimism. Ireland even made her a national holiday in 2023, which, to be fair, is overdue since St. Patrick has been hogging all the parades for a millennium. February 1st is the original seasonal reboot. Small fires, hopeful sheep, and the ancient version of spring cleaning, which probably involved mud, smoke, and complicated feelings about winter. Segment 2. Revolutions and Regime Crises. France, Portugal, Iran, Myanmar. Now let's talk political history, which on February 1st tends to look like a group chat full of monarchies screaming, "Abort mission." In 1793, revolutionary France declared war on Great Britain and the Netherlands because, apparently, executing your king really spices up foreign policy. It kicked off the War of the First Coalition and the eventual rise of Napoleon, the man who made short jokes fashionable even before the internet. Fast forward to 1908 Portugal. King Carlos I is assassinated in an open carriage, proving once again that convertibles are never the safe choice for royalty. His son dies 20 minutes later. The monarchy collapses, and Portugal speed runs its way into a republic, a dictatorship, and about 70 years of political whiplash. Jump to 1979. Khomeini returns to Iran, steps off the plane after 15 years of exile, and basically says, "This government is invalid, watch me delete it." The entire geopolitical balance shifts. And in 2021, Myanmar's military wakes up and says, "Democracy? Not today," launching a coup that spiraled into a nationwide civil war. February 1st is therefore not a great day to be a monarch, a transitional government, or anyone who prefers stability in general. Segment 3. Civil rights and democratic expansion. The 13th Amendment, Greensboro, and Hattie Caraway. February 1st is also a day when Americans try to make the country better, sometimes with laws, sometimes with lunch counters, sometimes with the sheer force of, well, someone's got to do it. In 1865, Abraham Lincoln signed the resolution proposing the 13th Amendment, formally beginning the end of slavery, or, as Congress often calls it today, a level of decisiveness we will never again achieve. Then, in 1960, 4 students walked into a Greensboro Woolworths, sat at a whites-only counter, and refused to move. And in doing so, they moved the entire nation. The sit-in spread to 70 cities, proving once again that you don't need money to start a revolution. Just receipts, a notebook, and the patience to withstand segregationists who think sandwiches have opinions. And then there's Hattie Caraway in 1932. The first woman elected to the U.S. Senate. People underestimated her, which is a bold strategy when dealing with someone who comes armed with Huey Long's campaign energy and a complete refusal to be treated as temporary. February 1st is when civil rights don't just nudge history, they shove it forward. Segment 4. Science, Technology, and Catastrophe. Steamboats, Black Maria, Columbia, and beer. Let's move to technology, the category where February 1st reminds us that innovation is amazing until we realize humans built it. In 1788, Georgia issued a steam engine patent before the U.S. even had a federal patent office, proving that American innovation once ran on frontier energy. And the phrase, "Sure, why not?" By 1893, Thomas Edison finishes the Black Maria Film Studio, a rotating, sunlight-trapping tar paper shed that gave birth to cinema. Imagine telling those early filmmakers that one day people would watch movies on their phones while ignoring each other at dinner. Then, February 1st gives us a gut punch: the 2003 Columbia disaster. Foam hits the shuttle on launch. Engineers worry, managers shrug, and re-entry ends in tragedy. NASA's culture of "this happened before and nothing exploded yet" was exposed, and everything from astronaut safety to how we talk about risk changed. But we end this segment on a lighter note. February 1st is also the day home brewing became legal in 1979, which means every IPA you've politely pretended to enjoy owes its existence to someone in the 1970s saying, "I bet I can make beer cheaper in my garage." Segment 5, culture, identity, and institutions. Dictionaries, operas, photographs, poets, police, and pilgrims. Our last segment is the cultural grab bag, featuring everything from opera to language to tragedy to one very determined poet. In 1884, the first fascicle of the Oxford English Dictionary was published, covering A to ant. It took 44 years to finish the whole thing, which is about how long it feels waiting for a group chat to agree on dinner. In 1896, Puccini's La Bohème premieres, giving us love, loss, artists, and an opera that stays popular because, apparently, people really enjoy crying in ornate rooms. In 1968, a single photograph from the Tet Offensive rewires America's understanding of war. Eddie Adams captures a moment of brutality so raw it becomes political ammunition, proving a picture can be both a Pulitzer Prize and a lifelong burden. In 1901, Langston Hughes is born, the man who gives Harlem its rhythm and American literature its voice. And then there's institution building. The RCMP forms in 1920, uniting Canada's law enforcement into one red serge-wearing symbol of national identity. Finally, the 2004 Hodge Stampede shows how millions of people in one space can turn sacred ritual into catastrophe, prompting massive engineering changes to keep pilgrims safe. February 1st doesn't just show us history. It shows us the systems we build, break, mourn, and rebuild again. In conclusion, February 1st brings together myth and monarchy, civil rights and cinema, language and loss, revolutions and rituals. It is a date full of turning points, reminders that humanity is always trying to move forward, even when we occasionally trip, spill coffee, or accidentally dismantle an empire. If history is a mirror, February 1st is the day it reflects back all the ways we evolve, all the ways we resist, and all the ways we keep trying to understand the world around us. Thanks for joining me. And remember, if you see a monarch riding in an open carriage today, maybe tell them not to.